Today, we will tackle another topic. Hi students, welcome to our class again. Our lesson for today is about compound interest. Now, what is compound interest? It is the interest paid of the interest due at the end of a certain period that is added to the principal and the sum of earned interest for the next period. In general, when interest is compounded annually for n years, the amount or future value A is equal to P, which is the principal, times 1 plus the R, or the rate of interest, to the power of T, which is the time. Okay, we'll have example here. Find the compound amount on deposit at the end of 1 year. If 20,000 is deposited at 4% compounded A, annually, and B, semi-annually. Now we're going to find the compound amount that is compounded annually and semi-annually. Okay, here is our solution. Letter A, using the formula A is equal to P times 1 plus R to the power of T, where P is the principal, then that is 20,000, and the R, or the rate of interest, is 4% or 0.04, and T, which is the time, is equal to 1. We have A, it's equal to 20,000 times 1 plus 0.04 is equal to 20,800 pesos. So that's the compound interest for 1 year. It's 20,800. And in letter B, a rate of 4% per year compounded semi-annually means a rate of 2% per half year. So we have our principal, interest, and the amount at the end of the year. So we will start with the first half year. As we know that our principal is 20,000 pesos. So to get the interest, we have to multiply it with the rate of interest, which is 0.04 times 1/2. So 20,000 times 0.04 times 1/2 is equal to 400. So the amount at the end of the year, we have 20,000 plus 400 is equal to 20,400. And to get the other amount, the second half year, so we will use the 20,400 as our principal now. So that is compound interest. After the first half year, the amount at the end should be the principal in the second half year. So we have 20,400 as our principal, and to get the interest, we have 20,400 times 0.04 times 1/2 is equal to 408 pesos. So 20,400 plus 408 is equal to 20,808 pesos. So at the end of 1 year, the amount of deposit is 20,808 pesos. In example B, the period, just the interval for compounding, is 6 months because it's semi-annually. So there are 2 periods per year. So the rate is per period, and the number of periods in n years is 2n. Thus, if the interest is compounded semi-annually for n years, the amount A, which is the future value, is A is equal to P times 1 plus R over 2 to the power of 2 times T. Where A there is the future value, the P is the principal, 1 there is constant, and the R is the rate of interest, and the 2 there is the semi-annually, and to the power of 2 times T. In the same way, if interest is compounded quarterly, the rate per period is there are 4 n periods in n years. So we have in symbols, the compound amount is A is equal to P times 1 plus R over 4 to the power of 4T. So that is compounded quarterly. 4. Our K here is 4. So in general, the pattern can be extended for compounding K times per year to get, we have the formula here, A is equal to P times 1 plus R over K to the power of K times T, where A there is the future value, the P is the principal, and then 1 is constant, plus R, the rate of interest, and the K is the compounding times per year, to the power of K times T, where R over K is called the periodic rate. Okay, we have another example here. What amount must be invested in order to have 128,376.52 after 8 years if money is worth 6% compounded semi-annually? So in this problem, we need to find the principal P. Knowing that the compound amount is A, which is 128,376.52 pesos, and the R, the rate of interest, is 6%, or if we will convert that to a decimal, that is 0.06, and K there is 2 because that is compounded semi-annually, and T, which is the time, is 8 years. So we have A is equal to P times 1 plus R over K to the power of KT. So to get the formula in finding the principal, or the P, we need to divide both sides by 1 plus R over K to the power of KT. So our formula now to get the P, or the principal, we have P is equal to A all over 1 plus R over K to the power of K times T. So our A here, the future value is already given, that is 128,376.52 divided by 1 plus 0.06, our rate of interest, divided by 2 because that is compounded semi-annually, to the power of 2 times 8. Because our K, or the periodic rate here is 2 because that is compounded semi-annually, times 8 because that is 8 years. So we have 128,376.52 divided by 1.03 to the power of 16. And our principal now is 80,000.003, or if we will round it off to the nearest whole number, that is 80,000 pesos. So that's the principal if our future value is 128,376.52, and that is compounded semi-annually, and the rate of interest is 0.06 for 8 years. So for our IFL, as Christians, We are called to be good stewards of God's resources. A steward can be described as someone who manages the resources of another. In Psalm 24:1, the earth is in the Lord's and all that is in it, the world and those who dwell therein. To effectively manage God's financial resources, it helps to have some understanding of modern financial concepts, strategies, and mathematical formulas. Compound interest is a great ally in catapulting you toward achieving your financial goals. Through an understanding of compound interest, God can pour out a blessing upon you, which you will not be able to measure. Albert Einstein once called compound interest the world's most impressive invention and top eight wonder of the world. Compound interest means all the money you've invested earns interest, and then the combined amount of the original investments plus your interest earns more interest. Compounding means interest added to interest. Compound interest does not produce linear growth like the pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. It produces geometric growth through compounding like the pattern 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and so on. Usually, the more frequently your money compounds when earning interest, the better. For example, daily compounding is normally better than monthly compounding, which is better than quarterly compounding, which is better than yearly compounding. So that's all about compound interest. I hope you learned something today.